Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 4, session 2 on blockchain and application development by Mr. Supreet YS, Facebook India Ambassador, Hacker Earth Ambassador, co-founder and CEO at TechWith Labs, Director at ASQR Technologies. Mr. Supreet YS has pursued his Bachelor's in Information Science from RV College of Engineering, Bangalore, MBA Business Analytics, and Tech Entrepreneurship Specialization from IIT Gandhinagar. He was working as an IoT consultant for a central government project related to smart tracking. He's a winner and world finalist of Climate Launchpad in the year 2018, representing India in Scotland. Baggage tracking system for airports using RFID and IoT for airports was funded by MHRD. He developed impact-sensitive headgear, which is one of the top 10 innovations from around the world, represented India in Dubai. He's a trainer and project developer in the field of artificial intelligence, IoT, and blockchain. He has also worked as a design architect for various government and private projects. He has filed a couple of patents. One among them is the impact-sensitive headgear, an add-on module for headgear capable of measuring the impact on head, if any, during mishaps, and capable of alerting emergency services with the location of the victim. And another patent under radio frequency based asset tracking system. We welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction, ma'am. So, hello, professors. Good afternoon. So, I guess I'll be handling the sessions for today and tomorrow. So, this is going to be a complete project-oriented session. So, I would request everyone to follow the instructions, and be with me when downloading any softwares or or typing any code. Stay together because it's not like just going through any lectures and later practicing it. It won't work out because you have to implement this project if you want to have a thorough understanding of this entire concept. Right. So let me just have a small presentation. Then we'll move on to hands-on sessions. So today we'll be doing the requisites of this particular project. We'll be working on a project. It's called as a personal planner, which is developed in the concept of blockchain. So in order to develop that, we require supporting coding and supporting technologies. So we'll be using Node Js and Web3js. So today's two sessions will be completely on Node.js and Web3.js. I'll be teaching everything from the scratch, from basics. So tomorrow it's going to be complete, blockchain project implementation. So I guess we can start off with that. Just give me a couple of seconds while I set up the presentation. Is my screen visible? Can someone just confirm?
Yes, sir, it's visible. Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Yeah, so this project is about developing a smart blockchain-based daily planner or a to-do list. So let me just show you some of the features of this particular project. This is going to be a completely maintained in a decentralized network. So if you're not familiar with some of the terms, or if you already have come across these terms in previous classes, if not, I'll be just explaining them again. So it's going to be a decentralized network. That is, it's based on a private blockchain network, and all the participants can create tasks, and all participants can mark the tasks completed. In order to explain this particular project in simple words, it's going to be like a CRM software, wherein in an organization, multiple people can, the organization heads, they can create tasks, and the employees can mark them as completed, or so on. So this is the entire project about, but it is not developed using a straightforward database, right? Using a single database, that is a centralized database. This is going to be completely decentralized, meaning that every participant in this entire blockchain network will have access to this particular data, and it cannot be changed by one or two persons. Now let me just go in depth into the project. So what exactly I mean when I say it's completely decentralized, or it's a private blockchain network. So the word decentralized signifies that all the information is not stored in a single location. It's not like a cloud storage, or it's store all the information about employees, then whatever their tasks are and who has completed those tasks or not. We are not going to store them in a single location. Information is copied and stored in a network of computers. Whenever a new list is created, every network in the blockchain gets updated. So whenever a new task is created, all the people in the entire network, they will get updated about whatever the new tasks are, who has completed them, and so on. So this is the entire concept of decentralization, and it's a private blockchain. Now, what exactly is a private blockchain, and are there different types of blockchains available? Let's have a look at it. Okay, so these are the different types of blockchains, and there are certain features through which we can categorize them. One is called as a public blockchain. Second one is called as a private blockchain, and third one is a federated or a consortium blockchain. So today we'll be focusing more on the second type of blockchain, that is called as a private blockchain, because this is the kind of blockchain which we will be incorporating in our project. So let us see what are the different features to which these blockchains are categorized. First one is the access. So the public blockchain is accessible to any. So the private blockchain, it's accessible only to a single organization, or the person or the people who actually created. And a federated blockchain, it's a combination. There are multiple players in this particular kind of blockchain. So the multiple selected organizations have access to this particular blockchain. Then coming to participants. In a public blockchain, it is available to all the participants. So there are no permissions basically. So it's called as permissionless and anonymous. Anyone can get access to this particular blockchain and add or remove blocks. Then talking about private blockchain, it's permissioned, and only known entities can make changes or work in this particular blockchain. Similar thing applies for federated blockchain as well. Then talking about security, it's basically private blockchain and federated blockchains. They're all secured because they're all pre-approved participants. Anonymously people cannot enter, and they can't tamper with these blockchains. So those are the two features. Then talking about the last feature about the transaction speed, the public blockchain is pretty slow. Private blockchain, it's light and faster, and so is the federated blockchain. These are the high-level differentiations of three particular blockchains. So yes, so in this particular project, we will be working with two important tools like Node.js and Web3js. Okay, many of you might not be aware of Node.js, or people might have worked on this. So what we have planned is, since we are going to teach the blockchain project from the scratch, we thought let us explain these concepts also in detail. So we'll be starting from the basics. So no need to worry if you haven't worked with these technologies, or if you haven't worked with JavaScript before. Everything will be taught from scratch. It is pretty easy. It's just like Python programming. If you are aware of C or C++, then this should be a cakewalk. You need not worry about that. So this is going to be a tutorial. The first entire session will be about a Node.js tutorial. In the second session today, that is in the afternoon session, we'll be moving on to Web3js. So before moving on to Node.js, let us understand JS. What exactly does JS stand for? So JS stands for JavaScript. So one more thing, many people get confused with JavaScript and Java. So both are on different ends. Okay, so let us discuss about JavaScript. So JavaScript is a text-based high-level programming language used both on client side and server side that allows you to make web pages more interactive. So JavaScript is one of the major programming languages used in the web technology field or the full stack web development field, mainly to make pages interactive. So what exactly I mean by pages interactive? So when you click something on a web page, so, you want it to go to a new web page, or you want to display something, right? So these are the particulars that you want to include in a web page. That is basically interactivity. So if you want to make your web pages more interactive, so there might be some some spaces wherein you have to fill out information, just like your email ID and password. Then when you click on login, automatically email ID and password will be collected and it will be compared to the data in the database. And then if it is successful, you will be allowed to go into the next page. So all these functionalities or the interactive features are enabled through JavaScript. If you're just looking at a website which doesn't have any buttons, where there is no interactivity, if it is just like a information website, for example, many of us have digital resumes. So for example, if a person by name Harry, okay, so if he wants to have a digital resume, what he'll do is he'll create a website, www.harry.in or harry.com. So when someone types this particular web address, he'll be redirected to a web page. In his web page, everything will be static. There won't be any interactions, or there won't be any features. It will just be a static web page with some pages and with some data about his achievements or so and so. So here JavaScript is not involved. In all the other places, wherever there are buttons, wherever you have to make some clicks, right? For take an example, for Facebook, Amazon, anywhere, if you want to do some selections, everywhere JavaScript is involved. Form validation, right? So this is also one of the important features which is enabled through JavaScript. I'll be showing some of those examples in a short while. Yeah, then HTML or CSS, they're just languages that give structure and style to a web page, just like I explained recently. Then JavaScript gives web pages interactive elements that engage a user. So on a higher note, this is what JavaScript is all about. Then what can JavaScript do? Now coming to a main question, what are its capabilities apart from using, giving interactive features? So, let us see them. Basically, event handlers can be used to handle and verify user input, user actions, and browser actions. Let me just finish explaining these terms, and then I'll move on to examples. So what exactly can JavaScript do? Things that should be done every time when a page loads. So as soon as a web page loads, there might be some offers coming up, or there might be a pop-up of some advertisement. These can be added through JavaScript. Things that should be done when the page is closed. So whenever a page is closed, do you want the entire browser to be closed, or just a single page? What exactly has to be done? That can be implemented through JavaScript. Then action that should be performed when a user clicks a button. This is a simple example that I've already given before. I'll be taking up a good example in a few slides. You'll understand it better. Content that should be verified when a user inputs data. Again, let us talk about user authentication. So what happens when you are probably creating a new account? So as you've seen in multiple social medias or in any banking sites, you need to enter the password twice when you're signing up for the first time, right? So enter the password again or confirm your email address again. So what happens is if your password that you have entered for the second time does not match with the password that you have just entered, a while ago, it says, the password entered by you is not matching. Please enter the right password. All these functionalities are, implemented using JavaScript. So how exactly does the JavaScript run? So on your browser. So there are certain things called as JavaScript engines. So there are different engines for different browsers. These are three popular browsers that are available, and I guess most of us Internet Explorer. There's a engine called as Chakra. Then Mozilla Firefox. Again, the engine is named as SpiderMonkey. And last, we talk about Chrome, widely used Google Chrome. So the engine is called as V8. So these engines are like runtime environments where the JavaScript code can actually be run on your browser, right? So this is about JavaScript engines. Now let us have a look at real-time Java code. So what I'll be doing is I would request all the participants to follow up. So I'll be listing some of the instructions here. So I request everyone to follow the same. You too, please have a practical session. Whatever instructions that I've put in here, please go there and have a look at them. So I'll be opening, Google search page, the front page. Then I'll just give me a second. I'll show how it has to be done. So this is a standard page through which we all do our searches. So just click on the right mouse button, then click on inspect. So you get all these bunch of information. It looks very complicated, but this is the complete backend of any website or any web page. So this is how you get to know all the features, how it has been implemented, what are uh, JavaScripts, that have been run and so on. So let me just go into the console and show you where exactly JavaScript is involved here. So this is basically a HTML page. So if you can see the first line, it says HTML. This is a part of HTML and CSS. So how exactly you can identify a JavaScript is whenever you see something called a script. So yes, so this is JavaScript. This is embedded into the entire HTML code. When you just expand this, so can you see the entire JavaScript code? It looks very complicated for various reasons, right? So, but it's not so complicated. We'll be learning about this in the current session. So this is how the entire JavaScript code looks like. So this is all JavaScript. It looks pretty messy and complicated, but trust me, it's pretty simple. So let me just take up one more script here. So as I expand this, have a look at this. So the entire script. So what exactly JavaScript does, I'll show you some of the features here. Let me just go into the console. So everyone, please be with me. I'll repeat, open Google, right click, inspect element. Then you'll be redirected to this particular page. Then go to the bottom section, select on console. Okay, so let us write in a small code. Let us develop an alert code. Can everyone see this? How this particular small piece of JavaScript code? I think everyone would have been familiar with this kind of text boxes popping up, right? So it's called as an alert. So you just need to type in alert. Alert is a keyword, then followed by whatever information that has to be displayed. Now let us go for a prompt. Okay. Now we'll assign a variable x. X is equal to prompt. And when we click on enter, this particular box comes up. So we can type any number here. So when you click on OK, so this number will be displayed again here. So these are all the functionalities which we can implement through JavaScript. So we'll be taking you to an detailed session on what exactly JavaScript is and what Node JavaScript is all about. From the variables we'll be teaching you. So let us move on to the session. Yes, now that we have a fair idea about what exactly JavaScript is, how it is used and what are its features, let us quickly move on to the concept of Node.js. So what is Node.js? Node.js is an open source cross-platform. It's a backend JavaScript runtime. It's not a language. Many people get confused. They think Node.js is also a programming language. No, it is a runtime environment that executes JavaScript code outside a web browser. So this is a major difference. Most preferably used to work with web browsers and to work with the clients and servers in connection with the web browser. But Node.js, it is used to run outside the web browser. So where exactly do I mean by outside? So Node.js can be used to interact operating system. So in just a few minutes, I'll be showing you how it can be used to interact with our operating system. So how it can fetch some details from our system or perform some operations. File operations can be done. All these can be done from Node.js, but not through JavaScript. Okay, so Node.js is a runtime environment. It is not a programming language. So let me make that clear. Okay, now let us consider a scenario and let us just go through it. A common task for a web server can be to open a file on the server and return the content to the client. So this is how all websites and basically all web pages work. When you search for something, that particular request will be sent to a remote computer where all the information about that website or a web page is stored, and that particular remote computer, which is called as a server, will return whatever information that you have seeked. So this is how your entire Google or any other browsers work in. So let us see this scenario here, how a PHP handles a file request. So whenever you request for any website, so this is how a PHP file works. A PHP file sends the task to the computer's file system, waits while the file system opens and reads the file, returns the content to the client, and then ready to handle the next request. So this is a synchronous process. Okay, and Node.js works asynchronously. That is, Node.js sends the task to the computer's file system. It is ready to handle the next request again. But when the original file request has been opened and the file is read, the server returns the file to the client. So this is how Node.js works. So the primary difference here is it's like it's PHP works on a sequential basis or a synchronous basis. So without the server returning the web page or returning whatever requirement that you had, it won't proceed to the next task. But what happens in Node.js, it's complete parallel execution. So there are requests going on in parallel, and whenever the file is fetched from the server, it will return. So it will not wait for the server to send the file, but it will simultaneously start taking in multiple requests. So this is Node.js, and that's how PHP works. Node.js eliminates the waiting and simply continues with the next request. So it is a time-saving mechanism, and now every other technology out there is replacing PHP with Node.js. And Node.js runs single-threaded asynchronously programming, which is more memory efficient. Asynchronous, I'll give a small example. So let us take in this small example of a restaurant. Okay, so there are multiple customers in this particular restaurant, and all these customers can be considered to individual processes. Now we have a waiter. Okay, let us consider a small restaurant where the waiter does all the job. He comes in, he takes your order, he goes to the kitchen, he waits till the food is processed, and he returns back and he delivers that. Only then he can approach a new customer. So usually in small restaurants, this is the case when there are fewer waiters. So the kitchen is the main processor. So in synchronous nature, what happens is there is only a single waiter, and he serves the customer from starting to ending. So what happens is he visits each table, he takes the orders, he goes to the kitchen, he waits for the chef to prepare whatever food that they've ordered. Then he serves that food to this particular customer. Then he approaches another customer. So this is synchronous nature. What happens in asynchronous nature is, consider there are multiple waiters here. Each waiter approaches each customer, or they go to a new table and they take in new order, and they come to the kitchen and they get the food process. So this is an asynchronous nature where every waiter does not need to wait for the other waiter to complete his task. So just like this, Node.js also works in a similar way. It doesn't wait for the server to return the file, but it starts taking in new requests. So this is the concept of synchronous and asynchronous nature. Now talking about the main differences between Node.js, that is the Node JavaScript, and just JavaScript. So these are some of the main differences. You can note down them. They are pretty important. JavaScript is a programming language which is used for writing scripts on the website, just as I had explained a while ago. Then Node.js is a JavaScript runtime. Note here, it's not a programming language, but Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment. Then JavaScript can only be run in the browsers. This is one of the limitations of JavaScript and why we are using Node.js for this particular blockchain project today. So this is a major benefit and an advantage. Node.js code can be run outside the browser. So this is a major contributing factor. Then talking about other differences, JavaScript is basically used on the client side. Node.js is mostly used on the server side. Another important difference. JavaScript is capable enough to add HTML and play with the DOM files of the website. Node.js does not have capability to add HTML tags. It just works on the server side, not on the client side. If I'm audible. Hello, can anyone just confirm if I'm audible? I guess there are some network issues. Coordinator, can you please confirm if I'm audible? Hello. Coordinator, can you confirm if I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, yes.
So as I explained before, JavaScript can run in any browser engine like JS Core in Safari and SpiderMonkey in Firefox and V8 in Google Chrome. Node.js can run only in V8 engine of Google Chrome. This is one of the major differentiating factors here. JavaScript is used in front-end development as well. I'll show you in the next few examples. Node.js is used in server-side development. Some of the JavaScript frameworks are Lambda, Type.js, and so on. Some of the Node.js modules are Lodash, Express, etc. These modules are to be imported from npm. So today we'll be seeing how to import some modules using npm command. Then Node.js is written in C, C++, and JavaScript again. So JavaScript is an upgraded version of ECMA script and uses Google's V8 engine written in C++. So they are all interdependent. They have some dependencies over there. So these are some of the major differences. So what you guys need to understand is Node.js is on the server side. It can be used to perform operations outside the web browser. That is along with our operating system as well. How we'll be learning in today's sessions. So everyone, please be with me. You have to install certain things. So I'll be giving a live demo here. Please, I want everyone to install on your systems as well. So we'll give you some time, probably a 5 minutes time to install all of these. So let us quickly move on. So we need to first download Node.js. Visit this particular website. It's nodejs.org. So when you type Node.js on the browser, so I think this is the first link. It's the node.js. This is the official link. I want everyone to download the recommended version. Don't download the current version because it might have some more bugs. Download the 14.15.4 version. So if it's around 30 MB, you can just put it on to download. I've already downloaded it, so I just canceled the download. Everyone, please download this. I'll just wait for a couple of minutes. Please download and install that. Installation is pretty simple. Just run and follow the next tab for a few times. It will be ready. Okay, meanwhile, you can note down the next steps once you have downloaded and installed. So this is the process to check if Node.js has been properly downloaded and installed in your system. Go to command prompt. So in your command prompt, all you need to do is type in the following command. It's node space -v. So once you type node space -v, you get the version number. That is version 14.15.4. If you are getting this, then your Node.js has been successfully downloaded and installed. Okay, so make sure that this happens. Without this, we won't be able to proceed with the project. So make sure you all download and check if it's installed. Go to command prompt, type in cmd in your search bar. Then once the screen opens, just type in node -v. This is the command. It displays the version of your Node.js. So once you download Node.js, let us move on to the next requirement. We need a platform where we can write all the code, and I would highly recommend everyone downloads Visual Studio Code because it's pretty organized and everything is simple. I use Visual Studio Code. It is simple. If you have other editors, you can use that as well, not a problem. But I would prefer everyone to download Visual Studio. For now, please follow the first step only. Other steps I'll be explaining. So how to download Visual Studio? Just type in Visual Studio on Google, Visual Studio Code, and this would be the first link. Depending on the kind of systems that you have, Windows, Mac, or Linux, you can find respective versions. You can download them. So once you download, again, it's a straightforward installation process. Please do put it on download immediately. Just click on that and you'll be redirected to a particular page, and download will automatically start. You need not click on anything. Okay. Meanwhile, while Visual Studio Code is getting downloaded, I want you to create a folder on your desktop by this particular name, node.js. For all the practical sessions, we'll be using this particular folder to save all our files. Go to your desktop and create a folder called as node.js, Nodejs. You can name it whatever you want, but so that everyone are in line with me, please put the same name so that you don't get confused. So I have created an empty folder called Node.js. Don't create anything inside that particular folder. Let it be an empty folder, Node.js. I believe everyone would have downloaded both Node.js and Visual Studio Code. Let me just open up Visual Studio Code and show how it exactly looks. So this is how Visual Studio Code's interface looks like. It is pretty simple. Everything is self-explanatory and everything is done. So we will be writing all the code using this particular editor. So we have created an empty folder on our desktop by name Node.js. Now we have to link Visual Studio Code editor to that particular folder. So whatever new files that we create or new programs that we create, it will automatically go and get deposited in our new folder which we have created, that is Node.js. So once Visual Studio Code gets open, click on Open Folder. Basically, you can select your folder there. Now you will not have this thing called as app.js. So this is how it will look like. So once you have selected Node.js folder, so this is how it's going to look like. So nothing will be displayed on the left-hand side. The folder name will be visible, Node.js. I hope everyone are in line with me. If you want, I can repeat again. Kindly let me know if you want me to repeat again.
Participants, do you have any query? You can post in the chat window or you can ask directly by unmuting yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, even if you miss at a single step, later you won't be able to follow up. That's the reason. Open Visual Studio Code. I'll repeat it again. Open Visual Studio Code. Click on O folder. So once you open the folder, click on Node.js here. Then you have to select the folder. Automatically, Node.js will be displayed on your left-hand side. It will be empty. Nothing will be visible. This entire left side panel will be empty. Make sure that Node.js is visible here. So if you have done till here, I think you are done with the setup process. Now we can directly move on to the hands-on sessions. I just wait for 1 more minute for those of you who are facing with internet or downloading Node and Visual Studio. I'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Please finish that soon. We'll move on to the hands-on session. So we have completed the step till here. Now there is a last step. We have to create a JavaScript file in this particular folder. It is very simple now. You need not navigate to any particular folder. So just open up Visual Studio Code. In the Node.js folder, there is a small file with plus symbol. As you can see, if I just point my mouse over that, you can get the option called as new file. Just click on new file and you have to enter the name. The name of this particular file will be app.js. When you click on enter, a new file by name app.js would get created and it will be opened. So this is where you type in the entire programs, and this is how where we'll be executing everything. So I guess everyone are done. So let me just repeat it. So once you have downloaded Node.js and Visual Studio Code, open Visual Studio Code, then you got to open a new folder, then select Node.js. Node.js was the folder which you had created on your desktop. Create Node.js folder, navigate into the folder on your left-hand side panel here. Then there is a small file with a plus symbol here. Click on that. Enter the name as app.js, click on enter. So a new file, a new JavaScript file by the name app has been created. And this is where you type in the entire code. This is where we'll be working. If you're familiar with, if you're familiar up to here, then the next tasks will be pretty simple. It's just, typing some code and executing them. Okay, so let us start typing some commands and let us get familiarized with Node.js. So the first thing that we'll do is learn about the print statement. It is one of the simplest statements. So what we'll do is we'll type in console.log in brackets whatever you want to print. So this is the command for anything on the console. It is console, console dot log, and in the brackets you type in whatever you want printed. Let me just zoom in so that it'll be much clearer. So once you type this particular thing, just click on Control S. Control S2 is to save it. Now, where exactly do you need to run this? Now, you need to open your command prompt. Open your command prompt. So this is where you see all the solutions or whatever answers that you're going to type in. So all the results will be displayed in command prompt. You won't get all the results displayed in Visual Studio Code here itself. So in command prompt, we'll be running everything. So now everyone, please pay attention here. You have to navigate to the new folder that you have created. Okay, so this will be in the default directory. Yes, so I was explaining about the first print statement. So if you have typed this particular statement, just click on Control S, that is to save this particular file. Now go to the command prompt, and this is where you see the results of all the queries that you're going to enter here. It's very important to navigate to the folder where that Node.js is present. Okay, so first thing is come to the desktop and navigate to Node.js folder wherever your particular file has been created. Now to run this particular code, it is pretty simple. You need to type in name of this particular file. It's app.js. So can everyone see? Now we are getting the message here. It says welcome. So whatever you type in here, the same thing will be reflected there. So I guess everyone can see the results here. So I hope everyone got to know how to execute programs from Visual Studio Code. You can type whatever you want in this particular space, that is app.js. All the code has to fall in this particular place. If you want to execute anything, just save it, go to the command prompt, navigate to the folder where you have created the node.js using the command cd. Change directory is the command that you have to use to navigate to this particular folder, node.js. Remember, there should be the path. After this, if you want to execute anything, just type in node space whatever name of your file .js. So
Excuse me, sir.
yes.
Can you please ensure you have shared the screen or not? It's not. It's
Is it
showing
not
the
shared?
Teams. No, it's no.
Just a second. Excuse me. Is it visible now?
Yeah, yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Yeah, I was just repeating the steps which I had told earlier.
Okay.
So this is the statement. Yeah, so this is the statement
Fine.
to print anything. Open up your command prompt. So in your command prompt, this is a very important step. If you make a mistake here, you won't get the output. Make sure that you navigate to the folder where you have created. You know, if you remember, we had all created a folder called as node.js on your desktop. So you have to navigate there using cd if you are in some other directory. Then once you come here, it's just node followed by the file name. So you get the output. So this is the basics. So this is the setup process. So till now we were going a bit slow. Now we'll have to move a bit quickly because there's a lot to learn. So now let us just move on to the next set of things on Node.js. So this is the first print statement that we have executed. Let us move on to next set of tasks. Okay, so next let us see what exactly variables are and how to create variables. So this is a new concept. Again, it's all similar to C, C++, Python. If you know any programming language, it is very simple. In order to create variables, you have to use the keyword var. So this is the keyword to create new variables. So let me just quickly explain what variables are and what are the different kinds of variables that Node.js supports. So this is pretty simple. You need not explicitly mention what type of a variable it is, just like C programming. You need not mention it as int x is equal to 12. You can just name it as var. It automatically takes in the type of the data type. It will be taken as depending on the kind of data that you have inputted. So there you can enter integers, you can enter strings, you can enter float values, boolean, true, false, and also characters. So these are all the variables and different kind of types of variables that can be entered, and it is pretty simple to print them. So printing statement, you already know what the print statement is. It's console.log whatever you want to print. So let us print the string. All the statements should be ended with a semicolon. Now open the command prompt. As you can see, it printed the value of the string. It's hello. Now let us print something else. Let us print what's there in variable a. Save and then command prompt node app.js. As you saw, true is being displayed here. So this is pretty simple. Now there is one more argument that I want to introduce you to. It's type of. Basically, you would be aware of this. Type of. Right. So this particular keyword returns the type of the variable. So let us see how to use this. So we'll print type of probably x. So it says X is a number. So variable X is holding a value 12 and 12 is a number. Let us check for Y. So Y is a string. So it is pretty simple. So these are all the variables, and this is how you check the type of variable, and this is how you declare variables and store data in it. Okay, so let us move on to the next particular concept. Conditional statements. Again, if else condition statements. These are all pretty easy. I'll just show one example and we'll quickly move on. So let me name a variable age. End everything with a semicolon. Same if statements. There's not much syntax difference. If age less than 18, then you need to print something. Console.log minor. Now let us quickly execute this, or let us else if age greater than or equal to 18, console dot log. So as you see in this age, current age is 16 now, so it has to print minor. So let us save this and run this. We need to get an output as minor. So if you can see, it's minor. So this is pretty simple, just like your C in Python. But there is no indentation like Python here. You have to put brackets whenever you are writing your function bodies. So make sure you put the brackets here. So moving on to the next concept. So next, let us move on to functions. So this is again an important concept here. So how to create functions? So functions are created using the keyword function. So you have to mention this keyword whenever you're creating functions. So let us create some function. So how do we call a function? It's just by its name. So this is the function declaration. This is the function calling. Okay, so let us just save it and execute and see how it's going to result. Sorry. It's throwing some error. Just a second. Hello. Yeah. So this is how you create functions. Just throwing some errors. I'll just rectify that. Meanwhile, I'll also be showing how to create functions with parameters again.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Sir, the screen is not shared, I think, sir.
Yeah, just a second. Sorry for. Yeah. So this is how you create functions with parameters. So it is pretty simple. You just enter the function parameters here and pass on the arguments as well whenever you're calling the function. Everyone, please pay attention here. So in Node.js, this mechanism cannot be used to print the values of more than one variables. So what we'll do is we'll have to put in two log statements. So this is how it's going to work. You can't print the value of both the variables in a single statement. You have to print it twice because you're printing it on a console. So this is how functions with parameters work, and this is how you call a particular function. Now let us move on to something called as lists. It's again array. So in this particular concept, we'll be seeing how to store data, how to create a new list, and so on, how to use for loop and how to fetch data. So these are all the basics again, which will be used in our upcoming blockchain project. This is how you create a list. It's the name of the list followed by the initialization with the values. You have to use a square bracket, end it with a semicolon, of course. Then you got to print console.log my list. The entire list would be displayed here. Now, again, the major advantage is there is no data type for this particular list. You can store in any kind of values, integers, strings, Boolean type, and so on. Character type, anything and everything can be stored, and so on. So any data type can be stored in a single list. So again, this is one more concept. Now let us explore the concept of loops. Please try this. These are all simple concepts, so we'll not spend more time on these topics. Next, talking about loops. This is a very important concept again. For loop, this is the only for loop and while loop to access all the elements in a given structure. So we'll create a list. How to create a list? You can just give a name for a list. We'll enter some elements. Pretty simple to declare a for loop. For is a keyword followed by, you need to type in a variable. Initialize it to 0th position by default. Int I is equal to 0. This is the standard that we do. I is less than. Now list.length is an inbuilt function. List.length is an inbuilt function. Then you have to increment this particular variable. Again, you need to print them. List of square brackets I. This is all pretty simple and same as C or C++. So sorry. So as you can see, all the elements of the list will be printed. Please make sure you mention this where keyword. Many of us miss it because of different styles followed in different programming languages. Make sure that you declare this as a variable. That's it. This is about lists. Now moving on. Now comes an important concept. Everyone, please pay attention here. We will learn how to link two files, two node files. So what we'll be doing is we will create one more file called as app2.js. So this is app.js. Now, what is the step to create new files? Go to the left-hand panel, click on plus. So we have created two files here, app.js, app2.js. You can navigate on the top section here. So see. So okay, so we will start writing some code for app2.js. Okay, so what we are trying to do is there will be some code in app2.js. How to utilize this code in the first file? So it's basically for reusability of the code, like header files. You can take that example as well. So let us see. Let us write a function. Function log. So we are passing an argument as message, and we are printing it on the console. So this is the first function. Now we have to export this function, which is present in app2.js, into app.js. Whenever you want to export anything, make sure you write the following command. It is module dot exports. Exports is the keyword. Please make sure. Then this can be anything. This is the name that I am giving, right? So this can be any name that you're going to give. Please make sure that you remember this name and whatever function that you are exporting. This is how you make it exportable, right? So this is in app2.js. I'll just repeat. We just wrote a function and we just wrote a line of code which is going to say that this particular code can be exported into any of the files. Okay. Now let us go to app.js and try to import it. So it is the reverse process. You have to import something. So if you want to import anything, you have to use the following mechanism. Create a variable to hold all the data which is present in the incoming file. I'll name it as exp. Require is the other keyword to import. In brackets, you need to specify where exactly this particular file is coming from. It's // and name of the file. So please make sure you have a thorough understanding of this, because I've seen many people make a mistake. So // it's in the default folder. Okay, so app2.js, app.js, they are both in the same folder, Node.js. So it is just // If not, you have to give a complete path. So if you just point here, you can see the path. You can type this entire path, or you can just type // and app2 is the name of incoming file. So we are importing whatever is there in app2 into app.js. So now that we have imported, we'll just try to use it here. Make sure that you're running app.js and not app2.js. So as you can see here, we got an output. Let me just explain again what we did. So in app2, we wrote a function to print whatever message is incoming. Okay, so this is a parameter that we are passing, and we made this particular file exportable by using this particular line, module.exports. So this is the keyword again, export function, any name that you can specify here, and this is the name of the function which you are exporting. As you can see here, the name of the function is log. So we are exporting log function, and this is the placeholder name. Now we'll come to app.js. This is the statement to import any external files. So we are making it a constant, exp. Again, this is the name of a variable which is storing all the data which is present in app2. Require is a keyword. So // is the path where and how the file is coming in. So app2 is the name of the file. Then again, this is an object, exp.export function. What is this export function? This is the same name which was given here. So you're calling this particular function, then pass the parameter. So whatever parameter that you pass, so it will be passed to this particular function, and it will print. So this is how you use two files, node files. Communicate. It's basically for communication. You will require this in the upcoming project. So I've explained this particular concept. Multiple functions can also be given here. So that's how it's going to go. So I'm not going to cover the entire Node.js concept, just the important features which are going to be used in our particular project. These are all the basics. So let us quickly move on. We have a few more concepts to learn today. So let us talk about another important concept called as packages. So these were all built by us. So we are building the packages here. Now let us explore some of built-in packages. Please don't type it. It's just for our reference. So we are going to explore what are the built-in packages which are available. Okay. So everyone, please open your web browser. In your web browser, please type in Node.js. So in your web browser, if you just type in Node.js, again, the place where you downloaded the entire Node.js from. So there is something called as docs, okay, documentation, and select the version which we have downloaded. It's version 14.15.4. So once you click on this, you will find a list of built-in packages. Again, there are a lot of packages that are available here. For example, HTTP hypertext transfer protocol. Then we have operating systems, that is OS. Then we have child processes. So you can just explore all the built-in functions which are available here. So we'll be using OS. I'll be showing path and OS in the next few slides. You can see how exactly we can work on them, because these are important for our project again. You can explore all the built-in packages in the documentation. So let me just come again. So on Google, just type in Node.js, the first link, go to documentation. In documentation on the left-hand side, select the version that you have downloaded. So here you can find all the built-in packages which are available for us to use. Okay, so hope it's clear. Okay, now let us explore some of the important packages. So the first package that we'll be seeing is path. So as we saw, there was a package called as path. Let me just open that for your reference. Okay, I hope everyone can see the screen. Now let us explore one of the built-in packages called as path. So you just need to click on that. So as you can see, it lists out all the functions which are available: path.delimiter, path.directory name, path.format, path.join. So these are all the different built-in functions which are available in path package. Okay, we'll be using one of those packages and we'll just write a small program. So this is how you import any built-in package. Okay, so this is the name of the package that is being imported. This is the variable name. You can keep the same name for the same name as the name of the package. It's not going to affect. So const path is equal to require path. So now we have imported that particular package successfully. You need not type in any code. Now let us declare a variable object path. Okay, so we used a default package called as path to check the properties of a particular file. So here __ file name specifies the current file, that is app2.js. So it is going to give all the information about app2.js. So path.parse is a built-in function of path package that we are using, right? So this particular information is being stored in a variable called as path obj, and we are printing path obj. When you just save it and run it on your command prompt, so this is the information that you're going to give. It says root directory is the C, and then it is present in users so and so folder. It's present in desktop and present in a folder called as Node.js. And the name of this particular file, that is the base name, it's app2.js. Extension is JS. Name of the file is app2. So all the information about any particular file or folder will be listed out using this built-in package called as path. So I hope everyone got a fair idea about what packages are, how to import packages, and how to utilize those packages, how to get information about packages. You just need to go to Google, but go and find it on documentation folder of Node.js, and you can see. So let me just take this path.parse. So see, when you click on that particular function, you get to know what are the things that it will return and how to process it. It returned the root directory, complete location, base file, extension, and name of the file. Anything can be received. See, all these are different functions which we can execute. You can explore them later as per requirement. You need not worry about them now. So let us take in one more example. That is operating system. Probably that's one of an important concept. That is the operating system library. As I showed you before. So again, let us go back. Let us explore OS. So OS is one of the differentiating factors here. As you can see, JavaScript was not able to work with our operating system, but Node.js we can work with our operating system. It's not just limited to online web browsers. We can use Node.js to even work with our local operating system as well. So we'll take in two examples. I will show you how to calculate the total memory of your laptop or computer, and also to display the amount of free space which is present in your system. So once you click on OS, the OS option, that is the OS package that you have here, you just need to click on that. You will find all the functions which are available. Let me just take up os.total memory. So os.total memory, it returns the system memory, total system memory in bytes as an integer. So let us look at this particular example. Again, the standard process to import any package is const is a keyword. Os is equal to require. Package. Let me just repeat this again. This is the name of the package. This is the variable holding all the content in this particular package. You can have the same name or different names. It won't matter. Now we'll create a variable total memory os dot total mem. These are all the inbuilt functions. You cannot change them. It is not done by us. So as you saw, os.totalmem was present in the documentation folder. As you can see here, os.totalmem. It returns the total memory in bytes as an integer. So let us see that. We'll take up one more variable. We'll see how much memory is left. os.freemem. Now just printing both the variables. Now let us just run it and check. So I guess you can see this. Yeah, total memory, free memory in bytes as an integer. So now you're handling the operating system concepts using Node.js. So now I hope you got to know. So because we'll be using a blockchain, local private blockchain network, so which will be present in our OS. So that's the reason we are using Node.js in this particular project. So I think we have covered almost 75 to 80% basics of Node.js. In the next session, again, will be, I think I'll take a couple of more minutes and finish Node.js. Then we'll move on to Web3js. Web3js is one of the most important concept, and that is where your entire blockchain link comes into play. There you'll understand why exactly we learned Node.js and how Web3js is helping us, link to our decentralized private blockchain. So that is the whole concept. I'll just see if any other concepts can be covered now, or I'll just put it off to the next session. Okay, the next concept, it requires around, it requires pretty good amount of time. So let me just include it here. So Everyone, please practice them. Just take a couple of minutes, go through them. So this is Node.js. It's pretty simple. The syntax is, really friendly. It's same like C, C++, or Python if you have used it before. The entire concept remains the same. Just the syntax is going to vary. So today I'll just brush up on all the things that we have learned since morning. So we learned what a decentralized or private blockchain is. We explored that is public blockchain, private blockchain, and federated blockchain. Just let me put up the slides here. Then we started off with Node.js. We are on the verge of completing Node.js now. Then we learned what exactly JavaScript is, what the things that JavaScript can do, what are JavaScript engines. Then we had a session on how exactly you're going to run alerts and prompts. We opened up Google and we saw how exactly JavaScript of Google is. It was very complicated, as you all see, it was huge amount of code. Then we learned the basics of Node.js. Let me repeat it again. Node.js is not a programming language. It's a runtime environment. Next, we learned how Node.js handles file requests differently when compared to the traditional PHP. So we saw that Node.js works on the asynchronous concept. It's not synchronous, whereas PHP is a synchronous approach to attend any file request. Then we also saw some of the key differences between JavaScript and Node.js. Again, Node.js is widely used for server-side development. Node.js can be run outside the browser, an important factor why we are using it in our current project with blockchain. Then we learned how to install Node. For the people who haven't installed Node, during the break, please make sure you install Node. It's pretty simple. Go to nodejs.org, download the stable version, install it. To verify, open the command prompt, type in node-v. It will display the version number. Then we installed Visual Studio Code and we did some examples. So once you install Visual Studio Code, make sure you link that to the current folder, that is Node.js, which you have created on your desktop. Then open Visual Studio Code, and you can start creating new files. App.js, I've shown you how to create new files. Then we saw a few examples or few statements such as print statement, for loops, how to create new variables, what are the different kinds of variables that can be created. Conditional statements, these were all pretty simple. Functions, we explored functions as well. We saw lists. Then loops, for loop, while loop is also pretty same. There's nothing much difference. That's the reason I didn't show you here, and we don't use it currently. Then we saw how to link two files, how to import functions or data from one particular file to another particular file using the following commands: module.exports. Then we explored a couple of packages. In the next session, post lunch, I'll be showing a couple more important packages. They are the most important for our project. These were all just the basics. So post lunch session will be very, very important. Make sure you don't miss that. Then we saw the operating system library. So how Node.js can work outside the browser and work with our operating system. Okay, file systems, I'll cover it in next session. So till here, if you have any question, you can ask. It's all pretty simple syntax. Next session will be important. Let me just stress this. That is where you'll get the entire link, why we are learning this, how we are going to link this with our upcoming project on blockchain, so on. So that's it for this particular session. If you have any questions with regard to any syntax or anything which I have explained so far, you can ask.
Thank you, Suprit sir.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. We will meet at 2:30.
Sure.
Again,
yeah.
After post lunch.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Participants, if you have any doubts, feel free to ask. Dear participants, we'll meet back at 2:30 post lunch for the next session. The link is shared. Please go through that. Thank you.